And welcome everybody to Mythic Esports. It's the DSS Quarterfinals. I'm joined here by Juggernacht, and this is a match between CB Starlight and the Darkside Project. This is a cross-division match. How you doing today, Juggernaut?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited for this game. I play in the lower leagues, the baby leagues almost, gold and silver and whatnot. But this is the big boys here up in plat and diamond, duking it out in playoffs.
Yeah, we have a bunch of diamonds duking it out like you said. It's gonna be a fun best of three. Since it is quarterfinals, it's best of three. This is gonna determine who's gonna move on and face pillars. So this is a pretty important match for both of these. We're getting to the draft ready. Soon they'll be up and going, but I kind of want to take us through the list because there are some changes in roster. We do have a substitution on the side of CB Starlight. They're actually using ILYSMH, I believe, and So their lineup. I'll give the whole lineup for them. They're starting on the blue side as Darkside Project has started our red. But CB Starlight on blue is going to be Stet in the top lane. ILYSMH. I don't know how to abbreviate that, to be honest. In the jungle. Shimuwu in the mid lane, Daydream, ADC, and no attack support. Um,
And
and
then on the red
yep,
side, we have, I'm blanking on the name off the top of my head. I apologize. It's Darkside Project on the red
yep.
side. They were higher seed, excuse me. So they elected to start on the red side. So we got Substantiate in the top lane. Cold Dream in the jungle, Eggplant Vendor in the mid lane, Squishy 900 as the AD carry, and Goat Milk Yum Yum as the support.
Yeah, so we do have a name change that wasn't announced by CB Starlight. So as you can see, they did lose the first ban. That is all right. They're running through these bans very quickly. Traditional bans coming out here. To be honest, Victor is always a good ban. I mean, what mid laner doesn't play Victor at this point? I feel like I see that like every time we stream. So no
It's a
surprise there.
classic, and the Seraphine is just such a meta support mid lane, AD carry, every role flex at this point. It's so strong and it's so consistent. And then obviously the Camille ban because the top laner from CB Starlight does play a lot of Camille, and who as a top laner wants to play into that? I mean, it's so annoying and it scales so well.
That's true, and we're getting to the first pick here. We've seen a lot of good first picks, even in SBS. They've gotten like the
Hmm.
ADC, the support, and there's like the Karma right there. That's a good flex pick,
Yeah.
I feel, because you could flex that top and support. Makes a lot of sense. It kind of balances itself out where it needs to, and I've seen the tank. I mean, I don't know how long ago that was, but tank Karma was a thing in topside. It was the most annoying thing, as I am sure you remember
Yep.
that. So.
Yep. It doesn't get much more annoying than that outside of Vayne Top. I hate that as
True.
well. But same idea, same idea. And then the Zaya as the answer. I'll be
Yeah.
interested to see if they're gonna look to counterpick the Karma, but they don't really know where it's going. So I'll be interested to see. Maybe they just end up taking jungle here as well.
Could be jungle,
Um,
could be support. I think Zaya is always, good with a strong pick in support, and there it is.
there's Soraka.
Not the
Interesting.
support I was really thinking of, to be honest. If you want to walk me through that pick, I feel like that's, because Zaya usually you want to pair with a good tank support that can lock down and support Zaya's lockdown, right? So
Mm, mm.
kind of take me through why you think they picked Soraka here.
I'm not entirely sure, but I will say one of Zaya's biggest strengths is kind of playing front to back and letting the other team come into you so you can get all of those feathers as they walk in. Now, it's worth noting that CB Starlight doesn't have to opt into that strategy, doesn't have to go into Darkside Project, and we can see right now they're picking the Varus to try to avoid walking into those feathers. Um, but the Soraka is kind of playing into that strategy of let them come to us, and then we either out sustain the poke or we just kill them as they walk in. Um, and the Udyrs, as is the pick from CB Starlight, it's a
Yeah.
super powerful jungler with it's really versatile too because you could use it to kind of run interference and peel back. But I think in this case, they're going to be using it as kind of pseudo engage, unless they pick some other super strong engage later on here.
Yeah, I feel like Udyr pairs really, really well with Karma because I mean, more moveset
Mm.
speed. I mean, a shielding. What else can you ask for, right? And to back that up is going to be the Varus as well. So a lot of poke coming out, and you know, Udyr is kind of the one that just runs in and does whatever he wants, right? But looking at the bans coming through here, we got a Xerath ban. I guess that is for CB Starlight's mid laner. So that's an interesting one. I guess it's more targeted. It's not really, you know, I haven't seen Xerath in like a long time. So, but then yeah, it's gonna be a response to Jarvan, targeting out the jungler here. That's a really good ban because once you see an Orianna, anything that wombo, it's kind of you know, gonna be detrimental if you let that through. And they're thinking the same on the other side with the Orb ban.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw the Orianna, and the obvious choice with the Orianna is something to carry the ball.
Yep.
So Jarvan's great, Malphite's great, anything along those lines. Even the Udyr would be suitable for that if Darkside Project had picked it. Obviously, it's picked on for CB Starlight, so that won't be happening. The Wukong, another great jungle ban that also is a good ball carrier. I'd be really interested to see what they're going to R4 here. My guess is that it's going to be the jungle pick, and they're going to save counter pick for top lane.
Yeah, that's my same thoughts as well. And I mean, we've
Especially
seen, oh,
the bear ball, a classic.
Yep, the bear ball, a classic. I think Cold Dream has played it, I think once or twice, if I'm not mistaken, throughout the season here, or substantiate one of the two. Honestly, could go both lanes, right? So definitely a good ball carrier. So starting off good. It's a good, just good you know, blind pick right there.
And looking back in the draft briefly, they were able to kind of pivot the Xayah away from the disengage style that she prefers into kind of a pseudo support for the all-in and the wombo combo, right? If you get the big Xayah ult into a big feather pull, it can do just as well as most AD carries with that comp.
That's fair. Didn't even think of that. But Corki is going to be a response in the mid lane. They're blinding these laners here now, and I feel like they need a little bit, maybe tank, maybe more tank. I'm not sure. Let's see what they pick. 1 second on the clock here.
I'd really love to see something disengaged, some kind of a disengaged tank.
Oh.
And let's see what that pick is here.
Tahm
Kench, exactly what you'd like to see as disengage and saving these carries. Yeah, I think that rounds out their team very nicely. They are still going to have to play well and make sure that they're not getting caught in the bear ball here. But if they are able to avoid that,
Wow.
ooh, the Sylas as an answer. That's an interesting one because these aren't really champions that you would traditionally think have great ultimates for Sylas, right?
Yeah.
You have Corki and Varus are all right. Karma's decent. Udyr's pretty meh, but yeah, that is not what I would have expected. Maybe they just value it as a counter pick to the Tahm Kench specifically.
I think that's true. I think it could be. You know, Sylas definitely has the healing capabilities to kind of match the healing capabilities of Tahm Kench, and maybe a little bit more aggressive early. I think that tells them that, hey, we're focusing topside with this Volibear jungle. Because, you know, Sylas is, like I always say, a chaotic character. You have to play aggressive, otherwise you just kind of really do nothing. Or they're trying to get objectives on the top side of the map like Rift Herald and make sure that they get enough gold onto both the top lane and the mid lane. So kind of it is interesting, but maybe there is some reason that we're not seeing. We just don't find the light right now, but yeah, we'll see it.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about top lane being the main kind of focal point here, because the Xayah Soraka is a relatively safe, secure lane. They are going to get poked by Karma Varus, but hopefully Soraka heals will be able to keep them relatively high HP. And the Orianna Corki is mostly just going to be a farm matchup. There's definitely some opportunity for ganks there. Mostly probably the ganks from CB Starlight will be the most effective, because Orianna is less safe than a Corki. But I definitely agree top lane is going to be the most volatile lane this game, and I think that's where most of the plays from Darkside Project are going to be focused.
Yeah, and on the opposite side, I feel like Udyr can kind of just roam really, you know, wherever, or maybe even match that, right? I think Udyr is a really strong 2v2er. So that could be a really good matchup for him and Tom Kench, especially if they get the CC stacking, with Uter's run and stun and then the Tom Kench knockup. They could really put out a lot of damage on this Silas. So I think, yes, I do think top lane is going to be the most interesting. And judging on how previous streams have gone, I feel like top lane, the camera is always there. So.
It's how top lane is though. Everybody just fights up there all the time. There's nothing else to do there except farm. So you get people bashing their heads together quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be really interesting. I'm excited to see what the pathing will be actually this game, because I think it will be bottom to top pathing from both teams so that they can match each other and try for that 2v2 that you were talking about. But there's definitely, and they're both relatively early game junglers, so there's not really a good reason for them to want to explicitly avoid each other, unless they're trying for some kind of a cheeky invade or something. But I don't think either of them are weak enough early game to really make that worthwhile.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have a lot of good team fights later on in the game. I don't think it's
Yep.
gonna, finish out early. I don't think this is gonna be a 20-minute game. How about you?
Just based off the picks, I don't think so either. I mean, Varus, Corki are both relatively scaling picks, and these are, plat diamond teams that I don't think are just going to get stomped solo in these lanes. I think that we are going to go to later on in the game, 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah, and looking at this this beautiful graphic by ProComps, you should check them out. They are a really good drafting tool slash, kind of almost anything tool for League of Legends. And it's saying that blue side has the siege potential, while protected split is on red side. So I definitely think I agree with that, and I feel like the kind of engage isn't really there for both sides, right? It's more on one singular person out of each team to do the heavy lifting when it comes to tanking, and then pretty much you just have to fight front to back, right? Corki is going to be a monster late game. Same thing with Orianna, especially with the ball proccing everywhere, and the Xayah as well as the Varus. So I think the carries is what we want to look for as well during the later stages of the game.
So now to the moment of truth, though, Wookie, who think won this draft at the end of the day?
Whew, that's a hard one, man. I think the Silas is very risky, right? Because we talked about how he needs to get ahead. He needs to get advantages early to kind of utilize his ultimate, and he doesn't really have a lot of good ultimates to use. So it's very risky picking him here. I could see it if Malphite was picked top lane for CB Starlight. So I'm gonna give it to CB Starlight for this first game, actually.
I think it's really going to come down to execution from my point of view, right? If the Tom Kench isn't able to save these critical carries, or if the Darkside Project gets a big bear ball, I think that they can win the fights, but I have to agree. On the whole, I think that the Tom Kench and the Udi are going to make life too hard for Darkside Project, and I do agree. I think CB Starlight came out on top in the draft.
Okay, well, I guess we'll figure that out as we're going to throw it to a short break. But when we're back, we're in the quarterfinals, baby. We're game 1 of CB Starlight versus the Darkside Project. This is it. One team, if they lose this series, they are out of playoffs, and the next goes on to face Pillars. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Everybody, panic! Hold on. I'm about to say something really cool. 3, 41, 9, and lift off! No one dies screaming without me. I feel like I forgot to shoot something. You're starting to bore me. She's such a loser. Always ready to cry. Da-da-da-da. Aw, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Game 1 of CB Starlight versus the Darkside Project. And we've got a really good, interesting game on our hands. There's a lot of unknowns, and it seems like Substantiate and Stet want to just, do top lane shenanigans here. This trade definitely in favor of Stet early on, so I guess...
One of the many joys of top lane,
yeah.
the level 1 fights.
But I feel like, Stet definitely benefited from that, at least a little bit, because of the grasp, right? Like,
yeah.
Of course, Substantiate wants to try to, engage at level 2, because that's usually what Silas's do. It's his one power spike. It's kind of like having a really aggressive assassin at level 2 for him. So, I'm loving this so far.
Yeah, other than that, though, it looks like mostly a normal 5-point from both teams. Looks like they're both going to be starting top side. Both junglers are starting top, which is not what I would have expected based on the draft at the very least. But it seems like top lane will be kind of on an island as usual, and they're going to look for some kind of plays bot lane. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work out for them, since both bot lanes are going to be really kind of pushed in. Or excuse me, at least red side's going to be pretty pushed in, or should be, and blue side should be pushed out. And blue side does not really have any escape, so I guess we'll see how that goes. There is some kind of a potential for blue side to get a good gank there.
Honestly, it threw me so off from that, but because now we're looking at bot lane as being the volatile match here.
Well, I do still think top lane will be volatile, but really jungle ganks can make any lane volatile if you try hard enough. And there's always going to be some degree of like, oh, I will be more useful later on, but jungle ganks really turn things on their head when they happen, for sure.
That's true. And looks like Darkside Project has been pushed in on bottom side, like you said. So Volibear is creeping down there. Oh, he might be maybe invading, maybe waiting for that gank setup. It looks like it. No attack, half health though, has to pop potion. And Volibear is down there.
He is looking for a gank. Fighting top side.
A little bit of fighting top side. It looks like the flash was used by Daydream, but meanwhile, Substantiated Set getting so low. Wait a minute, Substantiated. Oh no, he gets the heal, he gets the Conquer proc, but it's not enough. First blood goes over to Stet. What a 1v1.
That early game Tahm Kench is just so brutal. He heals something ridiculous, like 6% missing health for every single Q he lands. So in those close fights, it just makes him so hard to kill, especially when you combine it with his the E shield or missing health.
Wait a minute, Stet taking a lot of damage there. I thought that Substantiate would actually take Ignite in this matchup, because I feel like, with the aggression that Silas provides, you could easily, negate Tahm Kench's healing and just kind of win the 1v1, but that was not the case, and looks like Coldream is down here again. Unsuccessful gank this time around. He knows that Daydream's flash is down. We didn't get to see that on screen, but he does have Ghost, which is interesting summoner spell to take, but nonetheless, a good one.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting. There's a lot of ghosts actually on the side of CB Starlight here. They have Ghost TP, Tahm Kench in the top lane. They have Ghost on Smite on their Udyr in the jungle, and they have Ghost on their Varus AD carry. And it will give them the ability to kind of kite out these fights, but it's not going to help them that much if they get caught by the Orianna ball, right? If they get caught by that, they're probably going to get blown up and just die. At least for the Varus. The other two are probably tanky enough to survive most of it.
And I feel like, taking Cleanse here probably isn't the best thing for the side of CB Starlight, so I guess that's fair. You can't really cleanse out of anything except for maybe the Varus ultimate, the Volibear Q, or, maybe the stun from Substantiate here. Coldream is up here, too, and it looks like Stet's gonna notice that and get away, but... yeah, I feel like there wasn't really any other summoner spell to take other than maybe heal or maybe barrier, but I do agree that Ghost has become kind of a popular thing lately.
I've been really enjoying running Ghost. I play a whole lot of immobile characters, and it really makes your team fighting much easier because I play immobile melee characters, and just letting them get onto the back line for free with Ghost is so strong. And Flash is always good, but Ghost not only has a lower cooldown, but it has a higher duration. And yeah, I'm a big Ghost enjoyer for sure.
Yeah, well, looks like everybody's kind of headed down here to this first dragon. It's a mountain dragon. Stet is on the way. Everybody's, it's a party now, and Daydream is going to get exhausted right away. The flash Q from the Volibear is going to take out Daydream immediately. Stet is here, though, for backup. No attack. He's on the run, and Udyr is getting the stun in. Coldream getting extremely low, but the feathers are going to root them all and stop them in their tracks. And that's going to be the end of that fight. 1 kill over to Squishy 9,000, or 900,
yeah.
Excuse me.
Not quite enough on the root, but still very nice. And looks like nobody's going for the dragon, unfortunately. It was a win for the Darkside Project, but not definitively enough to actually get them an objective afterwards. See, now it's worth noting Tom Kench did rotate down and ended up losing some farm top lane for it, and I believe that Silas actually has a freeze going up there at the moment, which is good for him. It's going to just continue to make Tom Kench hemorrhage CS, but Tom Kench doesn't really need it. And if the fight had gone any better for CP Starlight, I definitely would have said that was a worthwhile trade, giving up a bunch of CS to Tom Kench to let your team win a fight. And it looks like support is going to back in the bot lane, and TDS are just going to be able to take this dragon for free. Just no contest there. They don't even just get to sneak it.
Yeah, I guess they figured that fight benefited them quite a lot, so they're going to just take that away. Look how many levels Stet is down from that one gank that didn't really amount to anything. He's 2 levels down, not level 6. That's huge for Substantiate, who was now behind and now is ahead. So. Yep.
It do be like that in top lane. If you leave for a minute and then your whole lane is screwed over because you're just too far behind. But there is going to be a little bit of a scrap in the top side jungle here, it looks like. Udyr just smiting that and running away. So, because they were on the dragon, Udyr just gets to yoink all that top side for free, which is not what you want, but it's better than nothing.
It's a trade, and SMH took that advantage that they were, down in the bottom side of the map for dragon, and that's what Udyr does, right? Runs and gets things and just runs away.
Yep, exactly. It's yeah, better than nothing for sure.
Better than nothing. And this is kind of a slow game so far. Not a lot of action. I mean, we had some scuffed fights, but not too much going on. This is kind of what I expected, right? Everybody wants to play slow.
Yep.
Maybe except for top lane, but, that didn't really amount to anything. But wait a minute. The Chains of Corruption goes out, but the immediate cleanse is going to get Squishy out of that situation. Both bot sides are not level 6 on the side of Darkside Project, so that's going to be huge for them if they can get something down there. But meanwhile, the top side of the map, Seth has to pop the Ghost here. Substantiate and Coldream on the run. Q comes out from Coldream, not level 6. Can't take out the tower. SMH is here, though, to backstep up. Okay, Tom Kench has grabbed Tom Kench. It's a miracle, and Stet is still alive. How? Oh my gosh, there he goes. He's dead. And Substantiate getting Soraka ulti, getting the heals. So much heals, and SMH just goes down. So much heals from all of the members of Darkside Project is going to net a 2-kill advantage for them.
That Silas healing is just so brutal, and with the Soraka ult as well, it makes it so hard to win those top lane fights, 2v2 fights for the side of CB Starlight. Especially when both Silas and Volibear both benefit from those like drawn out, longer, extended fights.
Shibuwu getting so low, has to flash. Eggplant Vendor not gonna go under tower to chase it, and that's gonna be a summoner spell advantage for the mid laner.
Yeah, really nice catch by Eggplant Vendor, using the ultimate to blow Corky Flash for no summoner spells in exchange.
Yeah.
And a little bit of a no fight over the blue buff even. It's really just SMH just stealing it away for free.
Yeah, SMH, you know, they have a ward spotted out Cold Dream, so they're going to take advantage of that, just like they've been doing all game long. And the Tahm Kench ult from Sylas comes out again, devouring Stet. Stet has to get out of there. He's getting, the reverse grab, but it's enough. No, it's not enough. And Cold Dream there to just make sure that he does not get out of this one. So equal punishments on both sides of the map from both teams, except it seems like the Darkside Project is getting the kills and is going to get a lot of gold plates from this Rift Herald popped in the top side. Chains of Corruption misses on the bottom side from Daydream, though. Oh, yeah, hate to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like TDS is just coming out on top in almost all of these fights. And I think I underestimated the Tahm Kench ultimate on the Sylas, because he is making great use of this to pick up these kills in lane phase here.
Yeah, he's being so aggressive, and that's kind of what I wanted to see a little bit early on, but he kind of, you know, maybe made a few mistakes, maybe didn't get the right angles, maybe didn't dodge enough Qs, you know, that sort of thing, but it seems like he's found his groove, and because Stet roamed down to the bot side and didn't get anything, that's a huge level advantage going over to Substantiate. So that definitely, all of those events lined up, made it so worthwhile for the Darkside Project. And it looks like they might be able to get this next Cloud Dragon.
I believe they will, probably. I mean, they were able to sneak the first one, but the second one, I don't think they'll need to be that subtle. They can probably just kind of brute force it, especially if they get a decent Orianna ultimate. Nothing coming up here in the top lane, but yeah, when you're talking about players that are this level, right, Plat and Diamond, they're going to be able to take these minor advantages that you see, like leaving lane for a minute, and turn them into basically what's going to eventually become an insurmountable lead for this Sylas here. And he's just, hopefully, if for TDS Project, hopefully he'll just be able to take over the entire game here.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a fight right on. Cold Dream is going to engage with the Q on SMH. Valkyrie comes through from Shimu, but that didn't really do anything. There was not a scuffle right after that. They're not entirely committing yet. Dragon is resetting. They're waiting. Chains of Corruption goes out. It's going to hit 3 of them at least. Eggplant Bender flashes away into his team. They're playing front to back. The stakes are getting higher. Dragon's low, and it's gonna get stolen by Daydream. Now they're gonna be aggressive, and flashes go out on the side of Darkside Project. That was a huge blunder from Darkside Project.
Yep, they missed the Orianna ult, and from that point forward, it was really just kind of CB Starlight gets to run the fight and do whatever they want, because there's not really any threat of the bear ball anymore. And at that point, especially with Sylas not there, Sylas is their strongest person right now, they can't really do anything. Sylas is there, even maybe they had a chance after missing the Orianna ult, but with him not there, it's a really hard fight.
Yeah, Substantiate is going to get himself into a 1v2 situation. I don't know if you want this, buddy. He's going to get Tahm Kench ulted while having the Tahm Kench ult. That is a crazy concept to think about, but Substantiate is definitely going to fall here. Looks like SMH. No, it's going to be Stet picking up the shutdown. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, everyone's top side, so they're going to take advantage. Squishy and Goat Milk are going to take some plates from themselves, at least gain a little bit back.
Yeah, it's a classic case of overstaying. Sylas has kind of got his 2 kills, he's on top of the world, but then they send 2 people to kill him, and he's not quite strong enough for the 1v2 yet.
Yeah.
He's still up pretty significantly in gold, but this does make the game quite a bit harder for Darkside Project, between losing that dragon and having their main carry kind of shut down. They're gonna have to work at it to get back into this game.
Yeah, I feel like
to kind of keep the lead.
If Substantiate was at that dragon fight, I think this would be a whole different story. You know,
absolutely, because
he was strong at that point, and I feel like if you're not transferring that Sylas around the map after that turret was taken, you know, what's the point? He's not going to be able to get that tier 2 turret quite yet. He doesn't have the damage. He doesn't have the levels to do enough turret damage. So there's really, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, especially not into someone like a Tahm Kench, who can literally just sit under tower and clear the wave, and you can't really kill a Tahm Kench under tower. It doesn't really matter how ahead you are, unless you're 3 full items when he's at 1. You're not going to be able to just kill him like that.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I absolutely agree that you want the Silas with the team. There are some characters where it's like, yeah, just go and stay in your lane and keep shredding these towers, but like you think about the Tryndamere, for example. But Silas, I don't think he's one of them. I think he'd be more useful with the team.
Yeah, especially at this level, he's kind of weak when it comes to the auto attack damage from his Petricite burst. But it's it might have been a communication thing. Who knows? Either way, this Baron is coming up, and who do you think is going to be the first to get it? Oh, hold that thought real quick. Shimu is getting engaged on. Will flash the Orianna ultimate there. Nice flash. Meanwhile, no attack down here at the bottom lane. Trying to take out Squishy. They want to be aggressive here, especially since Soraka's on the top side of the map, and they know it.
Yep, Squishy's all on that bot lane, and they're hoping to get something done, but it's really going to come down to whether the Chain of Corruption lands, and then whether Squishy can cleanse it properly. And if it doesn't land, or if he cleanses it right, they should be in a good position.
Yep, and it looks like the Devour is going to come out again for Substantiate. Let's see if the reverse Devour will come out. It's going to be like that every single fight these two engage in, but Stead is actually much more tankier than he used to be. He's got his first Frost gauntlet there, and yeah, he's taking the damage, but this is not going to be enough when there's a lot of Darkside Project members on this top side of the map, and he's going to just go back to base, and they're going to return in a tower on the bottom side, so it's 1-1 on the towers now. Dragon is coming up. Let's see. Oh, it was Cold Dream that did grab the Rift Herald. I think I called it Baron, excuse me. But, maybe they'll learn from the first mistake from the previous Dragon and have everybody at this team fight so we can get a nice 5v5 fight, not scattered, not one-sided. I'd love to see those.
I'm hoping so. I personally enjoy kind of good macro and split pushing as much or more than a good 5v5 fight, but with this comp, really you want to be seeing these 5v5 fights, right? You want to see the big Orianna ult from the Silas, like from the ball on the Silas or the Volibear, and you want to see them just kind of get a big wombo here. That's how they will win these fights. And if they don't, I think the fights are slowly going to go over to the side of CB Starlight with their poke and basically superior zone control.
Yeah, and that comes down to vision, right? Because if you don't have the vision, you don't know where to poke, and if you don't know where to poke, you're not outputting as much damage as possible before the big team fight starts, and you don't grab that advantage, right? So, and it looks like vision control is actually on the side of the Darkside Project, so... wait a minute. Shimu is gonna be assisted by a TP coming in. There's 3 members on the side of the map. Substantiate, you're in trouble now, buddy. And he's gonna flash over into the arms of SMH. Oh, no, he didn't know.
And you saw SMH just chilling there ahead of time, knowing that he was gonna come right over.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, the TDS project was able to get the dragon in exchange for that. And honestly, that's a trade that I'll take. As a top laner, you die, but your team gets the dragon.
Oh, wait a minute. Looks like they're in trouble here on Darkside Project. Tomcat is going to devour the Volibear, who is glitched out of his body, but, Cold Dream gets the healing, but it's not enough. Daydream. Nice Orianna ultimate. It's going to do a lot, but not enough. SMH is there to tank up the frontline damage. Meanwhile, a TP comes in from Substantiate. He grabs the Karma ultimate. He is only able to get so much poke damage out of that one. Not enough.
And this is what we were talking about with the Silas not having great ultimates to steal. I mean, he stole the Karma ult, which was not ideal, but what else is he going to steal there?
Yeah.
Like Varus ultimates? Maybe. Maybe the only other one that would be good to pick there.
Yeah, looks like Substantiate is still wanting more. He's in a 1v3 situation. No, Goat Milk is flashing in. I don't know why he was trying to save him, I guess. Squishy 900 is not going to be able to save Goat Milk, and that's 2 kills picked up for the Udyr and the Quirky. What is going on?
Man, TDS Project is really just kind of overextending these fights and going for just a little bit more than they can actually take here. But on the flip side, that Udyr was putting out some serious damage in that last fight there, and all of it was coming off of that Sunfire. That item is so ridiculously strong on a tank character. And interestingly enough, it's actually kind of the meta build for Udyr right now is lethal tempo into Sunfire, which is so weird to me, but I guess that's what people have like decided is the optimal build, and I'll take their word for it at this point.
Yeah, true. I'm not an Udyr player myself. All I know is he runs and does things. So, you know,
we don't know how,
we
but
don't know how, but he does, and you know, surprisingly does a lot of damage. Surprisingly tanks up a lot of damage. So hey, solid character, I guess. But Goat Milk might be in trouble here, as the Tahm Kench is gonna ghost into Goat Milk. Squishy 900 is caught in a pinch here, and so is Goat Milk. You know, Goat Milk will try to heal up. Stet is doing a lot of damage, but wait, Substantiate is on the backside. This is gonna be a trade of kills. Wait, Cold Dream is here, gonna try to take out No Attack. He's gonna pop over the wall. Substantiate waiting for that E to come up. Will W the Baron instead of No Attack, and misses the E due to the flash. There's a lot of chaos going on.
That is such a chaotic fight. It was in like 3 different places at once, but the end result is they trade support for AD carry. And overall, it's about even.
Wait a minute. The Orianna Shockwave is going to take SMH in. Not do a lot of damage, though. They're going to have to do a lot. Shibu Uwu is going to come and support him. Stet and Substantiate on the top side of this, Dragon side pit here. And
look at that goofy Udyr. He just gets to run around and do whatever he wants.
He really does.
Run up, fight your buff, run away, blow 2 ultimates, still get nothing. But it's worth noting as well that the CS lead in this game is overall in favor of CB Starlight in 4 of the 5 roles. Well, 3 of the 5 roles. Support doesn't really matter in that case. But they are farming exceptionally well, and despite TDS
they're gonna try again. They're gonna try again. It's 3v1 this time. Nobody's there
to
back him up. I don't think it's gonna matter either. Wait, he does hit the E, but no, it's... Oh, the Tahm Kench will grab him. Stet is there with the TP, though. He will grab Udyr himself and make sure that he's okay. This is gonna go into a full-blown team fight. Substantiate wants more. He wants blood. Can they do it, though? They don't have the Orianna Shockwave that was just used, and Substantiate is going to fall. Shimu is going to try to engage with the Valkyrie. Goat Milk so slow, doesn't have enough move speed. The Shockwave comes out too late. That's a double kill over to the Corki.
Man, Udyr there just getting eaten twice in the same fight, once by his team and once by the other team, but he's just so tanky that he can't really be kind of run down and killed. And if anything, he runs and kills you.
Yeah. Whew. I mean,
yeah.
Darkside Project had it in the beginning, but are just starting to try to make these plays that just aren't working out in their favor.
And frankly, I think in the 5v5 fights, based on the execution that I've been seeing, I think CB Starlight is probably going to come out on top. I mean, every time that they've been playing around the Orianna ball really well, they haven't been caught by anything, and they're just going to... TDS Project's going to have to give another dragon to CB Starlight here. Yeah. And we're currently... It was 2k in favor of TDS Project, and now we're at 1k in favor of CB Starlight. So... overall, still a close game, but the tables are slightly turning here in favor of CB Starlight.
Yeah, and that Corki is a menace to be reckoned with. Working on the Void Staff, it looks like here. Already has the Muramana and the Ludens completed, so this is a very scary Corki, and the more the game goes on, the more he's gonna just do super amounts of damage, and... SMH, you know, is gonna get tankier as well, and that's a pairing that I feel is really good, because Udyr just has to be in the front, Corki and Varus in the back. You got the poke.
And if anything goes wrong, you always have the Tahm Kench ultimate.
True.
That's why I am a big fan of this Tahm Kench pick. Normally, I don't think the champion's that great, but in this specific scenario, they needed it, and I think it does everything that they need it to.
Yeah, even though Stet was kind of faltering a little bit early on, has definitely come back and now has a bounty on his head. They're going to get ready for this Baron, it looks like. The Vision battle is still going on, even though that the top side turret for the Darkside Project is still up. I feel like they could really rush this down, especially with how much damage Udyr and Corki and Varus are dealing.
But TDS Project just has so much vision on it, right? You're seeing they're having to spend a full minute just clearing wards here. And a potential kick onto the volley bear.
They're gonna smite each other.
Run away.
Yep. They're just gonna run away. It's just what the two jugglers are doing.
The battle of the speed demons here. And then it's also worth noting, it is a double force of nature from the side of CB Starlight. And I really like force of nature in this game, right? You have an AP top laner, hybrid jungler, AP mid lane, and the only real AD damage threat is the...
Wait, they're going to try again? I don't think it's going to do anything, guys. He's not
It's still
Udyr. It's still Udyr. He didn't change champions.
No.
I guess they were expecting someone else, but I think their team is a little bit more coordinated than that. So they're gonna just... SMH is just going everywhere. He's like Mundo at this point.
Yeah. Udyr is, I remember back when he was meta, they would, in like LCS, and they would basically just have Udyr running around, popping chem tank, and just slapping people.
Yep.
And I think it was, what was it, run, stun, job done, something like that.
Yep.
And that's all he does, but that's all he needs to do.
Yep, that is exactly all he needs to do, and I feel like this is a little bit of a lull moment here for both teams. They're not really doing too much. Wait, no attack. Wants to try to fight Cold Dream here. TP comes in from both sides. Eggplant Vendor is fighting SMH on the other side of the wall here. SMH really wants that kill. This is a very, very interesting fight here. Stet in the middle of their team now. Featherstorm was popped. And they're waiting for their members to get closer. And Eggplant Vendor is going to get healed up in the backside. There's a lot of like back and forth, not really doing too much. Turret will fall finally for the Darkside Project. Cold Dream is going to engage. Did not get the Q proc. Is going to get grabbed by Tom Kench though. Substantiate on the top side is going to get low. Does have Udyr in his grasp. SMH getting really low himself. Wait a minute, Cold Dream has to flash out. Squishy is in the middle of them. What is he doing there? He's going to fall. And that's going to be a win for CB Starlight.
Man, these fights are just so scattered, and it is not what TDS Project wants here. They want these fights to be big in clumps. They can get a big Orianna ult, but you saw in that fight, they were only able to get 2 people with the Orianna ult, and that's not enough. They really need to be getting 3, 4, even 5 people in these Orianna ults in order to win these fights. But at the moment, the way that CB Starlight's playing these fights, TDS Project just is not able to get the big wombo the way they want to, and it's making the game very, very hard. From the side of TDS Project.
I see that they're definitely being patient when it comes to it. Like they're going in, but they back off, and then they kind of rinse and repeat and make sure like it's a boxing match, right? You go blow for blow. Sure, they have a Soraka, but once you get the coordination coming through, like hey, like one of these people, mainly Substantiate, if we're being honest here, has been low in these fights, and the Tom Kench saving people, and then Substantiate kind of getting caught in the middle because they focus one person down. It's just not enough. They don't have the damage output necessary, and the burst damage coming out from CB Starlight is going to net them the win. Yep, they're looking for it. This is going to be a steal for steal, and it's going to be TDSP that gets it, and let's see who wins this team fight. Stet is going to get the Udyr grabbed in his mouth. Substantiate and Cold Dream, they're on the backside now. Wait, there's no protection. Everybody's just falling on the side of TDS Project. Cold Dream is next to fall. Yeah, Udyr just running at them. Stet doing a fantastic job grabbing SMH, making sure he stays alive. There's enough damage coming out from the front line and damage dealers of CB Starlight that they can just run at them.
And they have the Baron. I mean, they lost the Dragon, but CB Starlight's going to be able to get so much off of winning that fight because they have this Baron from the previous play. And it looks like they're going to be able to take a bot inhib here and possibly a Nexus Tower? No, I don't think they'll quite have time for that. And it looks like they're calling to leave as well.
They're zooming.
But yeah, that is just a crippling play for the side of TDS Project. They're really trading a dragon in exchange for losing 2 kills and a bot inhib is not the position that you want to be in at this point, especially when you're already down and it's only getting worse. It's what, 7k lead in favor of CB Starlight at this point?
Yeah, but I feel like they're finding trouble trying to find the right engage and target because they have to stay with the backside. there's no other tank besides Cold Dream to protect them. They're all squishies, except for Substantiate, who's already on the front line. He's just not a good tank to kind of rely on. And that just gives way for access to the backline from SMH, who runs everywhere, and the poke damage coming out. Speaking of poke damage, though, Eggplant Vendor didn't even have time to pull the Shockwave, and Cold Dream is going to get the Chains of Corruption attached to him, but that was a quick tenacity to get out of that one. And it looks like the push continues.
Yeah, as a bruiser champion like that, tenacity is so important to be able to shrug off those ultimates like that, or any kind of CC. It really makes your life so much easier.
Yeah, it looks like SMH is going to go where he pleases. Under tower, he's not taking a lot of damage from Squishy 900. Gonna pop the cleanse. Oh my god, the damage coming out from Shiwu. Oh my gosh, that is almost an ace, and Substantiate is trying to split down the bottom side, but his team is all dead, and it looks like this game 1 is going to go over to CB Starlight as Substantiate kind of sits. He wants to kill the Udyr, but the Udyr is unkillable. You have to learn that, and I feel like the downfall was that they could never kill Udyr.
Okay, we need some kind of a tally for how many times Udyr almost got picked and survived versus
Yeah. Oh, you kind of cut out there. I'm not sure. I guess he clicked the continue button as the glitch goes through, but you're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm back now. Yeah, we need some kind of a counter for how many times he almost got picked, and then his actual death count, which was 1.
Yeah, exactly. That is huge, and that is a testament to how strong that pick is right now in the meta, right? Like, one item, just Sunfire, and he was able to tank up damage and do damage. So it's like, I think that might be a ban coming out from the Darkside Project Orion maybe picked. But yeah, CB Starlight is going to take game 1. I feel like there's not much more else to say about that one unless you have any more comments. We can throw it to a break.
No, just nicely played by CB Starlight. I mean, they were able to kind of break things up and kite back in just the right ways to force the fights that they wanted. So hopefully we can see the same kind of stuff come out from them again in the next game.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe a little bit of readjusting of the draft. Maybe the Silas wasn't the correct pick. Maybe they just needed to coordinate their kind of team fight style that they wanted to do a little bit better. Well, let's see if they come back. We'll see. It's game 2 coming up. We're going to get ready in the lobby soon, so stay tuned or don't go anywhere. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 of CB Starlight versus the Dark Side Project. That was a pretty interesting Game 1, to say. There could be a lot more we could talk about it, but they're ready for Game 2, and I'm excited for it, because, you know, there could be a lot of things that can be changed, and there's a lot of things that can be kept. I think we discussed that the Udyr was definitely a problem, all around the map, doing whatever he wanted. That could be a change that Darkside want. Speaking of Darkside Project, they are going to take Red Side once again. So it's maybe they want to try a different counter pick. Maybe they want to make the mid laner the counter pick. Could maybe even have a different approach to their team fight style that just didn't really work in the game one.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like what I would do if I'm Dark Side Project. One thing that I always like to do is split push, and that is, in my opinion, a great way to answer a kind of a poke comp like that. But it's one of those things where if your players can't play the champions that are required for it, it's very hard to do. And there are some very simple ones that you can play that will pretty much always work, but I'm not sure that that's what they're going to be going for, because we see exactly a rerun of last draft up through the first pick here, right? So we've got the Camille, Victor, Seraphine bans from the side of Dark Side Project, and we see the Fiddlesticks plus Lulu ban and Karma pick from CB Starlight. And let's see if Dark Side Project wants to opt into changing up this draft at all. I hope that they will, because the Xayah pick, it felt fine in lane. I saw Vayne and it screwed me up. But out of lane, it felt a little underwhelming. And speaking of out of lane feeling a little underwhelming, Vayne does not feel underwhelming out of lane, unless you're into a whole lot of kite back and peel. So we will see what happens on that front. I do think it's a little bit early for a Vayne pick. There are a lot of things that can be done to answer it. Namely, don't pick too many tanky characters. And the Vayne Nami, I saw this in a game of ours recently, and it was, or maybe it wasn't a game of ours. No, it was a streamed game that I did the other day. I think it was on Friday.
Oh, okay.
I believe they picked this.
We Hate Renekton versus.
Yeah.
That
I believe
game.
I believe they did pick this, and it did not turn out terribly well for them. So let's see if it can do any better this game.
Cycling through champions is going to be the Ashe pick here. Ashe and Karma also a pretty good response to this Vayne. Can pretty much you can never get away from Ashe, and the only way to really engage is to engage. So flipping through champions here on what they will pick. Possibly going to be mid lane. Oh, there's the Azir. It's definitely a different approach here.
It's such a good approach, though. I mean, Azir is just such a safe mid laner, and especially when you're playing these games that you know with relative certainty are going to go later on into the game, especially when you see something like Vayne already. Azir is just such a safe pick and such a scaling pick, right? He will always be useful. He will always scale to the point where he's going to be useful, and he's relatively safe in lane too. And it looks like that's going to be a Lux mid lane as the answer. That's interesting. I know one of Azir's main counter picks is Xerath, because he just outranges and outpokes Azir through lane phase, and Lux could probably do much the same thing, but it's not a matchup I understand super well, so I don't want to say too much about it.
Yeah, it's kind of a matchup where Lux will always have the 1v1 advantage most of the time, because she just has so much lockdown and utility and range. I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to facing Azir is having that range and making sure you're spacing and positioning correctly against Azir, because you have to know where he's going to end up with his soldiers, and if you're not, well, you're taking a lot of damage. But Lux does have some defensive capabilities, and ultimately it should work out pretty well for her. She can wave clear and do whatever, go get blue buff, go secure scuttle, things like that early on. But as you said, Azir is definitely a late game monster when it comes to team fights, and the shuffle is gonna. I don't know if I've seen a really good Azir shuffle besides like maybe a week or two ago when I think I was casting or producing one of the matches, and I saw a beautiful Azir shuffle. Like those will always catch my attention. So if it pulled off here, this would be amazing to see, and it could come out clutch too. If they're finding themselves losing the game, one shuffle is all it takes to come back. So. Whoa, these picks are going fast. Wait a minute, what is going on here?
So just so everybody's on the same page, they did ban the Udyr, Dark Side Project, after last game. I don't blame them. This is very interesting. I think that's a Talon jungle, and it's looking like Azir mid, and they're blinding top lane.
Okay.
Interesting. They're swapping through a lot of picks here, but it's worth noting CB Starlight did still ban the Jarvan and the Wukong, despite the fact that there's no Orianna.
Yeah.
Right, so they're still concerned about these picks even without the ball. And it looks like Gnar will be the blind pick top lane. Gnar is just a classic, right? He's always blinded because he's relatively safe.
Yep.
He plays fine into everything. He can do poke late game. He can do engage late game. But
Yeah.
he is a champion that's a little bit awkward to play.
Oh, here
and
we go
there's
again.
the Silas answer again.
Okay, but this one is a little bit more understandable, right? You do have some relatively well ultimates you can use out of this. So it's a little bit more understandable. I don't know if it's the best pick against Gnar, per se.
I was looking last game, and what is this? Substantiate has like 100,000 mastery points or something on Silas. So I think it's just a comfort pick at this point.
Okay.
It's just something that he likes to play top lane, and that he knows he can play relatively well. And I think that he did play it well last game. The only problem that he had was he wasn't team fighting, and then he was overextending just slightly and getting caught out a couple times. And if he can avoid doing those things and like start team fighting and not getting picked, I think that he will be able to do a lot more in this coming game, especially with these better ultimates like the Azir, the Gnar, and the Ashe, like you mentioned. Overall, though, Wookie, who do you think won draft?
Honestly, I think I really have to give it to CB Starlight again. They just have a really nasty lockdown potential, right? You have the Gnar, you have the Azir to get people in or out of the way, you have Ashe. Like, every single ultimate there is going to be useful when it comes to these team fights. And the only one that I'm a little bit concerned about is the Talon. Because normally I don't see Talon in the jungle quite often, but it can be good against these squishies that are on the other team. The Lux, the Nami, the Vayne. If you're not paying attention and there's a fed Talon in your face, well, you're pretty much dead in 0.5 seconds, as the death recap tells you. So it's definitely something to be aware of. And I want to see how the early game works out for the Talon, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree overall that CB Starlight, I think, won. And I definitely agree that Talon is the odd man out in this draft, right? Everyone else seems to want to kind of kite back and play front to back. But the Talon is kind of looking to pick off somebody, either the Vayne or the Lux. And we'll have to see. If he can perform on it well, it's probably not going to be a huge detriment, but it still does feel like the one odd man out in this draft. With that being said, though, I am excited to see if we can get some big Azir ult into Gnar ult action.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Whether it's a shuffle or whether it's a disengage into Gnar ult. Either way, I would love to see that. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm excited to see if we can get it.
Definitely excited. On the other side, though, we do have some changed picks here. The Vayne, the Lux, the Xin Zhao. I think all these characters kind of are really into, picking out a certain person, right? Especially Lux, especially Vayne, with the point and click CC, pretty much. It's very up to them to take on the early game this time, I feel. Once again, actually, because we saw them take the early game on and kind of lead into the mid game, but then start to fall off, make mistakes. We'll have to see if they adjusted their game plan to match what they wanted to do later on, because obviously it didn't seem like they could end it early, or at least get enough advantages early to kind of close the game out. But I think that they have some security with the Vayne. The Vayne is definitely... It's a protect combo again, right? We gotta protect the Vayne so she can do the damage later stages in the game. So definitely excited to see. I am gonna throw up the Pro Comps graphic here. Now it's working properly. That has the kind of almost the same as last game. The Siege for blue side again, which is the classic, I guess. Shove lanes, make sure everybody's kind of grouped up. But, we saw last game they were kind of doing a dance back and forth, making sure that nobody was caught out. They were being very patient with their team fights and not being too aggressive all at once, because that allows the pick potential and the protect potential to kind of just pop off, right? They play those team fights very well. So I definitely think that the graphic here kind of shows similar to last game, but not the same. And I'm looking forward to the changes that both teams make this game.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting that Darkside Project, they're definitely going to have the ability to kind of hopefully snowball that early game, right? But even if that falls through, the fact that they have this pick composition is going to make it so that at any point in the game, if they are able to get a pick, they are still going to be able to win these fights. Because if you're a man down, even if you have the better comp as a 5v5, it's going to be hard to win these fights unless you're already very, very far ahead.
That's true.
And so I think in that way, the composition they made is good insurance for them.
Yes, good
So,
insurance. It's not as protect the ADC as it was last time, who
mhm.
wasn't really doing a whole lot, as you stated before. Sure, in the early game, it was quite powerful as a Xayah can be, but it just didn't have that oomph. And I think that the pick comp here, if they punish the mistakes during the early game of CB Starlight, they're gonna be able to transition that into more kills for Vayne, more objectives early on, and that's gonna secure them the win. So I do think the changes made are good.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that this will give them a solid chance of winning, even if they end up falling behind in the mid game as they did last time.
Yep.
But I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's to see.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into game 2 right after the spectator delay. Grab your popcorn. This is gonna be the game that's gonna decide the quarterfinals series, the last one of the DSS. And so yeah, make sure you stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Summoner's Rift.
Hello, and the announcer lady said, welcome to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Dark Side Project, starting off on the same side, and CB Starlight on blue side. Once again, it's going to be a 5-point, kind of like last time, but Stet and Substantiate don't find themselves in the same pickle they were.
Yeah, no grasp this time, so there's no point in level 1 fighting. That's the rule.
Yeah, true. But definitely different summoner spells across the map. We have SMH actually took Ignite instead of Flash. I see this quite often coming from Assassin junglers, so not too much of a surprise there. A lot of lethal tempos.
Yeah, that is interesting. I would not expect, in particular, the Zinza with lethal tempo. But a lot less ghosts this game too, right? Last game, CB Starlight had like 3 or 4 ghosts, and this time, not a single one.
True. That was the League of Flash, not the League of Ghosts anymore.
Yep. Well, it has been League of Flash for however many years now.
True.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Let's see. Interestingly enough, though, they are pathing slightly differently this game. Last game, they both pathed top to bot, and this game instead, we have Zinzao pathing bot to top here, looking for an early gank onto the Gnar potentially. Although Gnar is one of the safer champions, so I don't know how much he's going to be able to get done there.
Yeah, but like we said, it's definitely. I think they realized this maybe from the first game, where like Substantiate, he did quite a number on Stet last game. Maybe we can just escalate that. And yes, Gnar is kind of an easier champion to get away with, but he's gonna have the push, right? We see it here, like it's gonna be hard for Substantiate with that range disadvantage to get a push on the lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I play top lane, and the whole story of top lane when you're melee and ranged is just survive until you can all in, and then hopefully kill them. And if you don't kill them, wait until you think you're ready to do it again, and then try it. And if you fail again, your lane's over. But if you're able to get the all in off, it can definitely snowball if you have some kind of a mobility to get onto them. It can definitely snowball into a stomp in the opposite direction.
Yeah, we see a lot of trades going on in the mid lane, but only amounting to a lot of mana used for both mid laners here. I feel like that's going to be one of the deciding lanes. You know, we're talking about top lane and bot lane kind of being the volatile. I think I'm really relying on the Lux to kind of help out with the gank, because either one of these, if they get good amounts of CC on either of these mid laners, they're kind of immobile besides Azir. I mean, but all it takes is one binding to get really low, and those dashes take a lot of mana early on. He already has plowed through 2 of the corrupting potions that he has in his inventory. It looks like both junglers are just gonna trade scuttles and go back to camps, I guess. It looks like Coldream, maybe. Cross map wants to see if the other scuttle's taken, maybe.
Yeah, no, they're both just gonna go back to their camps and opt into a reset in a minute here, I imagine. Although Zinza is actually looking for something here. Wasting a lot of time waiting there.
Yeah.
Not going to get anything done. Not a whole lot there.
Interesting choices. Yeah, interesting choices. He's spending so much time there. And Talon is about to back, so...
might look for a bot lane. Nothing there, bot lane. Pretty bad.
Interesting choices, regardless. But first, Cloud Drake is going to go in about 30 seconds here, so... we haven't really discussed a whole lot about who has the prow in this bot lane. It looks like it was at one point Daydream and No Attack there, but now it's kind of switched off. Wondering if this was done on purpose. Maybe there was some communication that SMH was going to go to the bot side, but actually SMH is just running back top to clear again.
Yeah, I have to imagine it should be Daydream and No Attack, because they have way more wave clear and they have way more poke, right? And longer range poke at that. The only real poke they have on the side of TDS Project is the bubble, right? You Nami bubble and you get a little bit of damage in, but really that's more of all in than anything. So I would imagine that it would probably be in the side of CBS Starlight, but it does look like they're intentionally kind of keeping the wave on their side.
Yeah. And I mean, this might be another slow start, right? We had a lot of action early on in the last game, but Well, a lot of action meaning top side, pretty much.
Yep.
Maybe not as much this time around, but I feel like Substantiate might have to just, kind of respond to the TPs. Wait a minute. Wait, SMH is fighting Eggplant Vendor who has not gone back yet. That's interesting. I guess he was waiting for the wave to come in and kind of clean that up before he went back, but looks like Darkside Project is starting this dragon right away. They saw SMH go to the topside jungle of Cold Dreams, so yeah, they're going to take advantage of that.
It's a repeat of last game where TDS Project takes first drag, but SMH is able to just get some of the topside jungle in exchange. And from what I've seen, it looks like SMH, just in general as a player, does a good job of getting to the opposite side of the map when he knows that you can't make a play, and just getting at least something off of it.
Yeah.
But still, overall, going to be a win for TDS Project. And it does look like they were... no, I'm thinking about this wrong. They were able to kind of slow push in bot lane and get an easy reset off there at the very least.
Yeah, that's fair. Because the more advantages that Ashe gets in lane, the more gold, the more items, she will become a slowing monster here, especially for a nice Talon gank, right? They can jump over the wall, kind of, ult in, make a play, and leave, pretty much. But it looks like No Attack is going to be helping out Shimu here in the mid lane. Forces a flash out of Eggplant Vendor. I think that's a fine play. Coming back to lane, you always want to try to look for things to do. And, what better way than to force a flash?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's not a whole lot to get in bot lane right now. The other bot lane just reset, so you may as well go provide some pressure elsewhere on the map. And now we can see Nami's looking to come mid lane or top lane and do the same thing. Because the wave is just so screwed right now, they have to wait for it to come back to them. And Nami is not going to be able to get anything done because of that Scuttle Crab top lane.
Okay, Gnar ultimate has been used to get Substantiate into the wall, but that didn't really do much. Not sure if he was trying to kill Substantiate, but they're just trading blows. Wait a minute. He shoves him out of... Oh, it's not in the wall. And now he's going to get punished for this as SMH is up there. But wait, he's got to wait a little bit longer for Cauldron to come in. Substantiate healing up, but no, First Blood goes over to SMH. Now can Stet get away, though? The flashes go out. Can Goat land the bubble? He lands the bubble, but Cauldron is not there. Does not have the W available. SMH is going to get ignited, actually. Ooh, will get taken down, and Cauldron almost taken down as well, but the nice old Nami heal is going to come in clutch, and that's going to mean that No Attack and Daydream on the bottom side are going to take some plates in punishment.
And they're going to zone this Vayne all the way off of XP. I mean, if Vayne walks up, it's going to be an instant Ashe ult, and then more Karma Binding and all this stuff, and it's going to be so miserable for Vayne to try to get anything done here.
Yeah.
Even if she cleanses the ult properly, it's still going to be hard to walk up to that lane. So she's doing a good thing and basically just not doing anything.
Yeah. This is very punishing for her. But now Goat Milk and Squishy are there. They have to reach level 6 at least from this wave, maybe. Maybe not Goat, but we'll see where he lands on the XP bar, I guess, there. As they could look to maybe make some plays. And it looks like they are. Squishy 900 is going to pop the Vayne ultimate. And nice flash is going to dodge out of it. Good cleanse. Cleanse returned. And Daydream is going to go down. No Attack now on the receiving end of the damage. Bubble lands is going to take the kill away from Squishy. And what a play. I see. I said it was going to come. And it, happened right after I said it.
Yep, that was such a nice play from the Vayne, just being able to flash and dodge the Ashe ult, and then from there just getting to run them down for free. And a couple nice bubbles from the Nami really solidifying that play. Yeah, that is not where you want the Vayne to be if you are CB Starlight right now.
Yeah, that is very true. It looks like Stet is going to fully engage onto Substantiate here, but Substantiate does have a lot of healing, does have a lot of backup too. Coldray right behind him, but SMH hasn't really been able to do much damage. Substantiate was invisible for a little while, and Stet is going to fall. Double kill goes over to Substantiate, finally getting what he needed out of that Talon ultimate. And yeah, that's going to be an advantage going over to Substantiate once again in the top side. Will he lose it this time is the question, as the gold is still around the same though.
Yeah, really nice invisibility from Substantiate, being able to avoid quite a bit of damage there. And just in time for Cold Dream to help come and bail him out, and is able to get a plate off of that as well. So yeah, that's going to be very big for Substantiate. I mean, he is now significantly ahead, and this is exactly the same situation that we saw last game, right? Top lane's ahead, although in this game now, bot lane is also ahead, which is a big change from last time. But on the flip side of things, we can also see, again, every role except for top lane, there's a CS advantage for CB Starlight.
Yeah.
And they're able to, they had to give the first dragon, but they are kind of slowly but surely coming back into this game, and I'm worried that the same type of thing's going to happen again, and that TDS Project is going to have to play around their pick potential again. Or not again. Thankfully, they have it this game. Last game, they didn't have quite so much. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if CB Starlight's able to kind of continue to snowball their lead.
SMH, look at all the kill for Goat Milk. Is going to get ignited. Yeah, that's a kill going to SMH. A lot of bleed, a lot of ignite damage. And that means that they have the prio here for this dragon. That was a great pick. I don't know if that was just coincidence that Goat Milk decided to split off, or, you know, just perfect timing from SMH.
Yeah, I mean, I think SMH had a little bit of vision and was like, uh-oh, looks like Nami's walking by, and then basically just set up the play from there.
Yeah, looks like Squishy is going to pop the final hour here, but is lacking on the attack speed. Isn't going to get too much autos out. Is going to have to back off as 4 members are here. But not going to be able to do much, as Substantiate still in the top side. Going to grab himself a couple more plates.
Yeah, so when I was doing a little bit of my scouting for these two teams, I saw some very interesting things based off their previous games. So for the side of TDS Project, Substantiate has really been kind of one of their main carry players, right? He gets ahead and he's able to snowball that lead to other lanes and win the game for them. Whereas from the side of CB Starlight really been in the mid and the bot lane than their main carries, at least in their previous games that I saw. And you can really kind of see that in the way the Substantiate plays and the way they play around him, and a potential play on top lane coming up here.
Yep, here it goes. Stet's in trouble. He's on the opposite side of the lane. Oh, he dodges away from the stolen Gnar ultimate, but meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, they're engaging here. But SMH is here to back them up. Squishy 900 is going to cleanse out of it. He does not have the final hour. He's going to fall to SMH once again. Goat Milk is going to do a nice flash, but can't get out of the jump from SMH, and that's going to be a double kill on to the Talon here. Meanwhile, Stet is in trouble, and even more so than before. His tower is down. He has nowhere to go. He's Mega Gnar. He has to try to get the jump, but he's not going to be able to. Cold Dream picking up the kill on Stet, so cross-map play, a trade of objectives and kills.
And it looked like such a great play from Stet. That original double jump to get away from the gank looked so good, but he overstepped just a little bit and didn't have the resources to get back out. But you can definitely see like the favored playstyle of both of these teams, right? Top centric versus bot centric.
Oh no, Squishy! No. You gotta expect it by now. Wait, there's a lot of damage coming out, but no, it's not gonna be enough. The Triumph is gonna keep that Talon alive. Yeah, that's to be expected at this point. 5-2 Talon has the only kills, all of the kills rather, on CB Starlight.
Yeah, we were skeptical, but it's making this game so hard for the Vayne, and for hasn't made it hard for the Lux yet, but I have to imagine Lux is not going to be enjoying this come mid-late game team fights here.
Yeah. Can definitely expect the stopwatches to come through in response to that, because he literally will kill you in like 0.2 seconds, and it's like, well, what do I do?
Absolutely, it's going to have to be. I mean...
Yeah, it's definitely. And considering he's the only one uber fed on the side of CB Starlight, the lack of kills on the other members doesn't really matter, right? Because we were talking about this earlier, but they still have CS leads all on the other members. So they're not doing too bad, and the gold is dead even, so that kind of makes up for it.
Not only that, but all of the other characters on the team, outside of like the Azir, are really more of utility characters, right? Ashe is there for the ultimates and the slows. Nard's there for the big team fight knockups and being relatively beefy. Carmen's a support. And even Azir has a lot of kind of zoning and kind of utility with his ultimate, even if he doesn't get fed. So honestly, I think that if I had to choose someone on the team to take all of the kills, it would be Talon.
Very true. And he's been working at it. SMH definitely putting on a show in this game with the Talon. But no, still relatively close game. It's not too far one side just yet, as we kind of saw last game with the 2k gold lead early on. And yeah, but I think the fact that the 2 towers have been taken for the Darkside project means they're going to have kind of an advantage here when it comes to cross-map plays, because this dragon is about to spawn, and looks like Darkside project have the prio.
They do. They're definitely there ahead of time, and they are working to set up that vision right now as we speak. But I will say, I think in general, given like an even game state, I slightly
Eggplant?
Oh my god.
Will get the shield from his W. Will not get ticked down from Ignite. That was a lot of resources used just to try to kill Eggplant Vendor, but that means Eggplant Vendor is out of the fight. Does have TP, and that means that a TP from Shimu comes in. That's going to be a man disadvantage unless Lux can get there in time. This dragon is going down so fast. Stat is on the front line. They can't really do anything. Okay, the Vayne is engaging, but it's too late. And it looks like both teams are just going to walk it out. Yep, they're just going to hop out, walk out. They did their job.
Yeah, really nice play from CB Starlight. I mean, it looked like they used a lot of resources on the Lux and just barely didn't get the kill, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, it gave them the breathing room that they need to just get the dragon for free, and TDS Project just wasn't able to contest because they didn't have the people. Nope, not enough people were there.
Yeah, that is definitely the point here, as I think that's what they want to do now that Talon is so big. They need to catch someone out. They're kind of playing almost the same style that the Darkside Project wants to play, which is pick someone out, or at least force resources out of multiple or even one player or one carry out of the Darkside Project and make them kind of suffer a little bit.
And Ashe, frankly, is the premier AD carry for a pick comp like that, right? The ultimate cross-map, full like 2 or 3 seconds of CC if you hit it from long range. It's just so difficult to play around. And Gnar ulting the wave there just because his ult cooldown is... hold on a second
Cold
here.
Dream did pop the ultimate of his own, but looks like SMH just kind of waited him out, but now they're kind of caught here. They are going to jump over the walls, both of them. No Attack has no flash, and Substantiate is in the middle of ISM. I love it. Oh my gosh, the shutdown coming through. What happened there? Substantiate, we thought he wasn't going to do anything, but he's coming in. Great pick, and Daydream is going to try to follow it up, but I thought that SMH was going to get out of there alive, or at least, you know, with the jumps, but just couldn't get it. Yeah. The Nami bubble was perfectly timed from Goat Milk.
Not as tanky as the Udyr, definitely. But yeah, I mean, Talon is one of those characters where you think of, don't chase him, he's just going to jump a wall and get away. But this time they were able to layer enough CC to barely get him down before he jumped over that last wall to safety. And that is a huge shutdown going down onto Substantiate, and hopefully this will give him the resources that he needs to really be able to match the Gnar or the Azir in the side lane and absolutely smash them, because that's one of the things that TDS Project is going to need to do in order to get back into this game, is have the set, or the, excuse me, not the set, Sylas in a side lane and kind of stomping, or getting a whole bunch of picks, and we'll see one of the other.
SMH is going to pop the stopwatch out of Eggplant Vendor and has to get away. SMH have health, but I don't think Vayne can really chase, as the turret is going to go down in the mid lane in CB Starlight's favor.
Yeah, and I was going to mention it, but Silas and Lux both have the stopwatches, and they both bought them pretty much at the same time a little bit ago. That's Lux's, so now she's out of luck until she gets the Zhonya's here.
Yeah, which should be relatively soon. Doing a great job of farming. Same with Shimuwu, but you know, they're on different paths right now. The early Void Staff coming out from Shimuwu, I don't know if that's like just kind of a personal choice or what. I don't see a lot of magic resist being built on the side of the Dark Side Project just yet. So very curious.
So, I have seen my mid laner play this Azir build before. It's the full pen. It's the full pen poke Azir build, right? So you take the. I think usually I've seen people take Electrocute with it, but Comet seems like it would work just as well. But then you go the Luden's Echo with the pen boots plus Void Staff, and they have 0 MR, right? And you're able to just absolutely pop anybody. And it's an interesting style. It's kind of more like the poke comp that they played last game than the traditional kind of DPS Azir with the Nashor's Tooth and whatnot.
Right.
And there are potentially other better kind of poke champions in the Azir, but the Azir's kind of team-wide peel back is like with his ultimate is still super useful.
Yeah, versatile. And it looks like Goat Milk is gonna caught out from the Ashe ultimate there. SMH wants blood though. He's not done with Eggplant Vendor. He wants his revenge. Eggplant Vendor is gonna survive that initial burst coming out. Oh, and Eggplant is gonna snipe SMH out of the ballpark. Swishy does have the final hour popped. Not gonna get too much done. Took a lot of damage from Daydream instead here as multiple low members on the side. Who's gonna get this dragon? It's coming up just now, and yep, Coldream is coming to get it, but okay, Shimu is gonna just engage onto Goat Milk, get the kill, and Substantiate is gonna pop the ultimate on Stet, but I don't think that's the one you want, buddy. You're in the middle of 4 people. You want to get no attack and Daydream, and they're gonna shut him down, and that's a win for CB Starlight. Oh, maybe Coldream trying to steal it? Nope, he's not gonna get it. He's gonna flash away. Does not pick up the dragon. Whew.
Yep, and CB Starlight's gonna be able to pick up the 3rd dragon, so they are one off from Soul here. And an Infernal Soul for a poke comp too, and with a talent, that is gonna be absolutely brutal if they manage to get this. And it looks like they're gonna try to turn this play immediately into a Baron. I'm a little concerned about their DPS, but I think that they can manage it. If Ashe had Bork, I would have no concern about it whatsoever.
Yeah, but look how fast.
It is going down so fast.
Oh, that's done. And oh, the flash from Stet into the ultimate, into the combo. Goat Milk didn't have a chance. Substantiate is going to grab Nar's ultimate himself. Maybe gonna use it now? Nope, not gonna use it now. Just gonna grab it, make sure that nobody decides to engage any further. But man, that was a fast Baron, and let's see what kind of advantages they can get out of this. I mean, they had a lot of expended ultimates here, but they should be relatively up soon.
Yeah, so if you're TDS Proton right now, you are in damage control mode. I mean, you're only 5k down, but from the way that things are happening in the game, it can't feel like you're only 5k down, right? It's got to feel absolutely brutal, the way that CB Starlight are able to play these fights and just kind of hold on a second.
Wait a minute, Coldream engaging on SMH. I like this approach from Coldream, but he's taking a little bit too much damage. 3 members of the team are there, and SMH is actually gonna 1v1 him. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, looks like Stat is gonna get 1v1. Double kill over to SMH, though. They're staying for too long. Eggplant Vendor and Goat Milk have no tank members to back them up. They're just sitting there waiting for SMH to hop over a wall and one-shot them.
And that is not what you want to be doing with the when the other team has Baron. I mean, it's good that they got 1 down in the top side, but you cannot be playing like that in the jungle. You have to be just in lane looking to wave clear with the Lux, and with the Xin Zhao looking to cover for Lux in case the Talon tries anything here, right? Because the Xin Zhao has the knockback on the ultimate. but really, this is gonna be crippling if CB Starlight gets too much off of this Baron. And it does look like they're gonna look for a siege in the bot lane with Talon in the top lane to pressure on the opposite side. Although.
Yeah, looks like
it looks like they're a little scattered.
Okay, Squishy is coming in with the ultimate here. Is engaging, but has no chance to auto-attack at all. Okay, Coldream is down the front line. This could be a front-to-back fight here. Nope, the shuffle is going to put them all back, but a nice bubble is going to come on Shiwu, but it's not going to be enough. Daydream takes out Coldream, and they're going to end the fight there. Baron still on their side, still giving them the stat advantage. This is so dangerous. The plays that Darkside Project are making are just not amounting to anything. They're just too stat checked, it seems.
Yeah, despite the fact that
okay, Substantiate tried to 1v2 here, but SMH does a lot of damage, but it's gonna fall. Actually, Substantiate is actually succeeding in this 1v2 so far. Stat, next one to be taken out, misses the E. He's healing up, he's stopwatching. Double kill is actually gonna come from the Nami damage. And oh my gosh, what is going on? The back and forth. It looks like they're trading blows for blows at this point.
This is what Substantiate needs to be doing here, is taking these 1v2 fights, the fights that look good for him, and kind of turning them in a way that lets his team get back into the game here.
Ooh, that was a great frost arrow there. He's gonna return the favor though. Is he gonna miss? He's gonna miss, and he's stuck. He's rooted. He's gonna heal up though. Daydream not gonna be able to fall, and Daydream takes the kill. The Ashe damage is too much with the 2 items that she has. Eggplant Vander trying to snipe Daydream out of the ballpark, but not going to make it.
Yeah, like I was saying, these are the fights that Substantiate needs to be going for, though. I mean, at this point, he is kind of the only carry on the other team. I mean, Vayne is just now hitting the items that she might need.
Oh, the jump on the wall, but he's gonna get the kill. He's gonna jump away with the ignite and the bleed damage. Coldream now stuck. He can't go anywhere. He's gonna pop the guard there. It's gonna do a lot, but not against the SMH. The Talon is just on a rampage here, and jumping all over the place is going to get in and out of these fights. Eggplant Vander is going to snipe, no attack!
Nice.
And that's a good return kill. The siege continues. Stet trying to get something happening, but he's now mini form. Substantiate, wait, did he teleport? What just happened? Shimumu is in trouble, and he doesn't open the Ashe arrow! The enchanted crystal arrow is going to save Shimumu! Wow!
Nice arrow, oh my god. That almost certainly just secured the dragon for them, and with that dragon they get soul, and with soul it's going to become a lot harder for TDS Project to do anything in the series, because they have all that extra damage, especially on the poke, right? You want to poke and proc the Infernal Soul and then wait and proc it again, and that's exactly what TDS Project, CB Starlight's going to be able to do with the Azir, with the Ashe, with the Karma, with even the Gnar. Everything on their team just synergizes so well with this Infernal Soul. And I think at this point it's just going to be a question of CB Starlight getting the Baron and then like kind of sieging down these lanes, taking triple inhib or double inhib, and then just ending the game from there.
Man, what can Darkside Project do? I mean, they have to respect SMH, right? Like Talon is just a monster, but they don't have the tools necessary to protect other than grouping as 5, because that's how you kind of counter assassins, is you get enough CC before they're able to do anything, but they're just not coordinated enough to do that right now. And I feel like, yeah, this is going to be an easy Baron. They might need to respond. They need to take action, some sort of action, to get back in this game.
Yeah, but they do have the tools. They just need Lux and Xin Zhao to be there together, right?
Yeah.
Because if the Lux is able to hit a binding... Ooh, and then the Ashe are coming in missing. If Lux is able to hit a binding, and then Xin Zhao's able to peel for Lux with his ultimate...
Oh no, they're separated again, SMH.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nice job by Squishy on that knockback, actually saving him and blowing the Talon ultimate all on one. But yeah, if they are able to get a Lux binding into ultimate and blow up someone on the other team, and then use the Xin Zhao to peel, they can definitely turn this, but they're going to need
Hey,
to look to
where's the
steal this
steal?
Baron right now.
Here comes the steal. Let's see it. Cold Dream, it's up to you, buddy. You gotta steal this to get back the game. And no, they didn't get it. He flashes in to try to get it, but he's just gonna fall. And that spells the end.
Is so hard.
Oh no! Shibuya though, kind of caught in the middle of a rock and a hard place. Caught in the middle of Substantiate. He's gonna shut him down. But is that enough? Can they win this fight? Can they take the game off of CB Starlight without giving in? SMH is on the backside though! He's re-engaging! No! They let their guard down on the backside and double kill goes to SMH. Possibly a triple kill. Eggplant Vendor has to run away. Is he gonna make it in time? No! He's not! And the stopwatch is gonna mean his death.
That's gonna be at least 2 inhibs here. Maybe only one if Sinsao can do something, but that is so bad. If they had like called it and been able to get out at a 3 for 3, that would have been a great deal. But they just weren't able to escape SMH, and they just kept. He just kept running them down and jumping over walls and kind of being right where they needed to go. And I think they are going to get the second inhib here, which is going to be very, very
Cold
good.
Dream, where are you going, buddy? I don't think this is going to work out. It might work out. Nope. Not quite. Talon as a champion to get away from that. But that means that they have 2 members down for the most part. But looks like CB Starlight is just going to take it easy, back off, just regain some health, and return.
They don't need to do anything. All they need to do right now is sit top lane and just choke the other team out. They can literally wait for the bot and mid Baron minion or super minions to come in and just siege top with the Baron minions. And literally that's all they need to do, and they can basically just win by choking the other team out of resources. They've already taken all of their jungle.
Wait, Shibuya will dodge the bubble though. Almost gets it. They have to be careful though. They can't let their guard down. SMH fails to jump over that wall. Let's try to get the bead on Eggplant. Substantiate still there. He's so tanky right now. He has the Gnar ultimate. He's gonna be able to he's gonna have to make this team fight play here if they want to win this game, or if they want to even have a chance to come back.
Yeah, CB Starlight just needs to take it easy here, right? You can see on the minimap the Baron minion or super minions are pushing in the side lanes, right? Bot and mid. And this next wave, all they need to do is just stroll up with this wave and poke the turret down. But it looks like they're actually going to reset, so they are not going to be looking for the siege right now.
I think they want to be careful.
To take it slow. Yeah, it's true. That is pretty much the only way they lose this game, is if they absolutely botch a team fight. But as it is, with all the tools that they have, I don't see how that happens. So I really would have loved to see them use this Baron while they have it, but it looks like they're going to take it slow and try to play the smart game here.
Yeah. It's better to be safe than sorry, and Elder is in a minute, so... you know, we saw that Cold Dream attempted to steal the Baron away, did not get it. This might be his only and last chance to steal an objective away. That's huge in changing the terms of the team fight.
And even with 2 inhibs down, I have seen crazier things than an Elder steal into wiped team fight into a 1 game, right?
Yeah.
Even with how far down they are right now, 11k down almost.
Yeah.
It's still totally possible with the state that League of Legends is in right now to just steal an Elder Dragon, run it down in mid, and kind of come back.
Well, speaking of running it down, SMH wants to kill somebody here, but is he going to get taken out himself? He's got the GA, he's buying time. Substantiate! It's going to take a lot of damage from Daydream, and Daydream is kiting like a master. He will get away. He does not die, and that's Ash out of the fight, but they still have so many minions in the base, so much teamfight potential still. Shibuya putting out the damage. Both turrets are almost down. That's 1. Can they get the other, though? No, they're going to play it safe. They know that Elder is up. They're going to let Darkside Project kind of let those minions do the work for them as they go to this Elder.
Yep. And CB Starlight just putting on a masterclass on how to play a poke comp or a siege comp. It's really, you just want to kind of apply pressure in lots of different places.
Wait a minute, he's gonna die! He's gonna get shut down from Substantiate, who's gonna get the trade kill, but that's still Elder. Substantiate was one of their biggest players, and to die there would likely be the end here. Enchanted Crystal Air is going to pop, and Shimu is going to pick up the kill. That's death. That's an Elder. That's going to be game here. And that's going to be a 2-0. The shuffle comes through. Shimu, wait a minute. Squishy 900 is going to almost get popped by Elder. Will get popped, but Shimu is going to fall to Eggplant Vendor. Coldream, next one. He will pop his own ultimate to get out alive, but is it not going to be for long? No, the Ashe just slows way too much, and that is game 2, ladies and gentlemen. Darkside Project has been eliminated from the playoffs, and CB Starlight will be the ones to face Pillars next week. Oh my gosh, what a series. Whew. I mean, I feel like that was a great gameplay coming out from CB Starlight. They have to really hunker down now as they're in semifinals. They are up against Pillars, and Pillars is a strong team. This is going to be a great matchup coming forward. Like, walk me through, like, was there any sort of chance for Darkside Project to come back in that, though?
Well, I feel like the biggest problem, from my point of view at least, was just that they didn't have the vision on the objectives. They weren't able to kind of get picks ahead of time, and so they just got poked down, and they weren't able to engage, and they weren't able to get picks, and they got poked down nonstop, and they just couldn't contest any objectives. It was just always something went wrong for them. They were too low ahead of time. One of their members got picked. Something was always going wrong. And so, to my mind, it's just get the vision, be there first, look for picks as the other team walks in, right? That was what happened to them every time. And if you can do that to the other team, your comp is going to be better at it.
That's true.
So it's just a question of timing, to my mind.
Yeah, and speaking of timing, though, we're going to put up the MVP vote. I want to ask you first off, who do you think is MVP? That's a hard decision because we saw a lot of members kind of pop off during several points in the game, and it was just kind of a coordinated effort.
It was a lot of everybody. So in game 1, SMH did a great job not getting caught, right? He died once out of like 7 different times that he almost got picked, right? He survived every fight. And the Tom Kench, Stet on the Tom Kench really did a lot in the first game to keep his carries alive and win those close fights. And I can't discount, of course, the mid and bot lane really putting in the work of actually doing the poke and kind of doing a lot in those team fights. But at the end of the day, I do think it was really SMH that performed the best in a combination of both of the games, right? He really popped off with the Udyr, both not getting caught, wasting time, and winning those 2v2 fights. And then in the second game, the Talon was just an absolute menace and kind of picked people off nonstop and got them through the early and mid game to the point where the Azir and the Ashe were really able to put in work in the team fights like you would expect. But yeah, I've got to go with SMH for MVP. But what do you think, Wookie?
Honestly, I love the way Stet was playing against, the opposing top laner. It was just like, yes, Stet had a rough time, but came back monumentally with the Gnar ultimates, with the Tom Kench plays. We saw him struggle, but I think Stet honestly carried their team to victory when it came down to just being there, being that front line, having that pressure, even when the odds were against him.
Yeah, weak side warrior. It's underrated. You see a lot of the carry top laners, and I'm guilty of this too, right? I play carry characters, but being a weak side player is definitely a very underrated skill, and Stet did a great job of it in both games. I can't disagree.
Yeah, and we'll see. It looks like SMH is going to have 2 votes acquired there. But yeah, I want to talk about the future now, because now we know that Pillars is the next on the list for the semifinals, and I feel like I honestly feel like they have a chance versus Pillars with what they've shown today. These are diamond players duking it out, and Pillars has shown monumental progression throughout the series, and it's just really it's so hard to like say one team is going to win over the other because they're just all good.
Yep. When you're talking about players like this, none of the teams are really bad, right? You can't
Yeah.
really have a bad team full of diamond players. That's not how that works. It's just a question of who's able to kind of synergize together and get the better compositions and play around them better. And that's really, to my mind, what I like about competitive League of Legends so much. So I love seeing stuff like this.
All right, well, your MVPs are going to be both SMH and Daydream. There was a tie at the last second. I'm not sure if they're in their voice channel, unless they probably, said, hey, we got to go to bed, maybe, or something like that. I reached out to them, but if we don't get an interview, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the other members, besides the MVPs for right now, at least. I think Shamu did a really good job on both the Corki and the Azir too. The mid laners were very very in contest with one another, but I think that Shamu did actually make an impact on both those games. So I think it was just all around so good, and it looks like we're gonna have instead both No Attack and I believe that SMH. I don't know if we're exactly sure, but we're gonna bring both of them in here anyways.
Daydream.
Or Daydream. Yeah. It's one of the two. Let's see. Hello.
Morning.
All right, let's get No Attack in here as well. There we go. So, wow, what a game series. Were you guys like nervous at all going into this matchup?
No.
Not at all. We didn't even have any planning.
Gosh. Every team says that. Every team says that.
We just came up with bans. Like, I mean, I did like a little bit of scouting on a dock because I thought our game was yesterday, but yeah, like most people, this was our first game of the day.
Okay, all right. Launch another question at them, Juggernaut.
Yeah. So, what was kind of your strategy going into these games? Did you have it from draft, or was it kind of developed on the fly in the game?
I can at least for game one, they locked like Zaya Ori, and I realized. We realized that they just drafted no damage, and then we just pick stuff that can't get killed. Like, how does Udyr ever died like in that game at all? I mean, he died once because he got caught, but I don't know. Their team just doesn't draft damage at all. They just refuse to.
Yeah, and it showed in the first game. I mean, Udyr was just running around and, like you said, he got caught once, but beyond that, I think they tried to pick him like 7 times or something crazy, and just didn't die ever.
Yeah. Toon simply did not care. And then game 2, they like R1'd Vayne, and it's like, okay, this series is over. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're just
Vayne
picking
is
really
not a
bad
real champ.
We're picking really bad champions.
And that's interesting because they did have like at least one point in time where they had the bot lane of your team on the opposing end because they made a play that we thought was going to change the way Vayne played the entire rest of the game, but ultimately it didn't. What was your thought process like saying, oh, we just died to them, now what do we do to just keep our cool, keep our calm and collected thoughts when it came to future fights?
Oh, I was like,
he made a really good play on Vayne.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
So, like, at the end of the day, like, he's playing Vayne into Azir Ashe. Not much he could really do.
It's like, I was like, oh cow, I got gapped, but then like I'm up 40 farm, so like doesn't matter. I don't think so. I mean, he played it really well. Like props to him.
That's a good point. And yeah, I think for most of the games on both games, almost all of the members of your team were just gapping the enemy team in CS leads. So that's where a lot of the gold was. Even though in the second game SMH had all the kills, we saw that literally like all of the rest of the teammates there had enough gold in CS to make up for that difference. That just the 0 kill marks, they don't mean anything as long as you have the CS numbers. So great job on that. All right, Juggernaut. Any more questions for our MVPs?
Oh yeah, one more question. You guys had some great macro and some great team fighting. Is there one person on your team that's a shot caller, or is it kind of split and everybody helps?
I think everybody kind of gave their input. I think it's like mainly jungle and ADC, a little bit support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool, cool. I have one more question as well for you guys. How do you guys feel about going up against Pillars next week? Are you all excited, angry? You don't care? Like, there's been a lot of emotions this entire season, so I want to hear what your thoughts on Pillars are.
I have literally no
I
idea
have
who
no-
they
I have no
are.
idea who they are. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man, I knew it was coming too.
Yeah, in Twitch chat, it was don't care plus ratio.
Oh,
Honestly.
good take, June. That's our jungler, I think. I don't know.
Hello,
He talked.
Bob.
Is that you, June? Is that you? You were talking about Talon.
True.
No, but we joined the league late, so I think they're the team that like we didn't play. And honestly, like
Ah,
I CBA to like scout, so like I have no idea.
That's
It'll be
fair.
fun, hopefully.
yeah,
Probably.
Pillars is definitely a great showing. I think we've seen them at least once during the season, so I'm excited for that matchup. Congratulations, you guys are going to semifinals. Woo woo! All right. Well, that's going to be it for us here on Mythic Esports, the last quarterfinals match of the night. Thank you guys so much for the interview tonight. We hope you guys have good luck in the semifinals.
Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, that is going to be it. So, Juggernaut, this was a fun match. We're going to join in for next week. We're in semifinals. So, I'm excited. I don't know about you, Juggernaut, but I'm excited to cast those games.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. I mean, for me, it's always awesome to see like plat and diamond teams because I'm kind of a lowly gold player myself, and it's cool to see kind of the macro and the mechanics of higher level players like that. And it's always a good show watching Mythic.
All right. Well, with that last note, we're going to take it off for the night, but join us on, is it Thursday? Oh, yeah, Thursday for our next SBS match. I don't know who we have scheduled yet. As always, schedule locks are in a few days, so we'll see you for the recap. I don't think I'm going to be there, but hopefully Aurelion is there on Tuesday. So everyone, have a great night and stay safe.